I'm going to pick up in the middle of verse 16 because it actually is, there's two parts of it. One part went with the last sentence, but we're going to go over why Jesus asks as his disciples, "Who do you say I am?" And then Jesus transfigured before them. Oops, I forgot to reset that. I do that. I'm beginning to forget what's going on here. Okay. Now, here Jesus is going to be telling them, well, they had forgot to buy bread. Okay, take bread, but they need to buy bread from wherever they were at. And when Jesus said they had forgotten to buy bread, when Jesus said, "Beware of unleavened bread from the diviners and fortune tellers," because that's who we just got done talking to. So we can't say these are Pharisees. So this is kind of like, this verse actually needs to be after this. What Jesus says. Let me see. What then Jesus said. Yeah, I'm going to change this to then. This needs to be then. Then Jesus said, "Beware of leavened bread from the diviners." I would have to take this verse to be truthful. It would be here. But they thought they forgot to buy more bread. Beware of the unleavened bread from the diviner. Actually, this verse doesn't even need to exist. Yeah, I'm going to delete everything here. This is not even going to be needed. I'm just going to do this to the whole thing. Because as they went to the other side. Now this means that they were on a boat and then they are now going to the other side. So, then Jesus said, "Beware of the leavened bread from the diviners and fortune tellers." And they began to discuss themselves. "We bought no bread to eat." Which is replacing this verse here, yes. So that verse really is not needed. So Jesus, because Jesus didn't say, Jesus had to tell them. Oops, no capital. Oh, I'm thinking of what I want to do on the next edit here. So it was a capital T. I'm thinking I need the word "then" here. Then Jesus told, yeah, I'm going to have to put this. Then Jesus told them, don't need to have this little faith. Why do you discuss among yourselves that we have no bread? Why do you not understand? Yeah, I'm just adding the word why. Do you not understand? Remember the 5 breads and for the 5,000. See, there was 4,000 before. Oh, it's being 2 groups here. Jesus is saying the first group was 5,000 and I've got hundreds. We know thousands is just too many to feed or 4. So this doesn't need to be added because Jesus isn't speaking about that part. He's speaking about how Jesus fed people. Because he's saying, beware of leavened bread, not prepared bread. But the bread that's been prepared is the words coming from Jesus, is what this text is getting to. But I don't think I need to go through and explain too much. Yeah, I got rid of both these endings for that. Those just aren't needed. I think I do need them. I am going to add them because his bread's been given to them and they went out and delivered or gave them, and then they got their bread from them. And when it says how many you took up, which will be in many baskets you gathered, but that would be that they are to do as he is. He's their teaching and their words will be bread for other people, even like myself. So yes, need the word and. And how many baskets how many baskets you I'm going to say gathered from, because that's what they did when they went to gather. They gathered from. So this needs to be copied and placed here. And then where are those question marks? Yes, they are. So yes, Jesus is teaching that their livelihood or their knowledge is pretty much needed to come directly from Jesus, about Jesus. And then he's also saying at the same time, how many baskets you gathered from would been, yeah, because it's not that they, and how many baskets you gathered from, because there's many people and you gathered from them. So yeah, that's how that's going to get edited, and I better save that. Okay. And how is it that you do not understand or do not speak concerning bread to eat, but beware of the leavened bread from the diviners and fortune tellers? Okay. Beware of every false teaching. So this would be also, Jesus would be also referring to what he taught before about those corrupt priests and scribes. So he's adding to the group of deceivers here. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to add that back into the text as well. Every false teaching, I need to use the word by here. By, I'm going to put priests and scribes. He said to be aware of every false teaching by priests and scribes. Okay. Here I'm seeing that just changing the word district to city. I don't think I know where this city is at. Where are they saying this city is from? Let me open up a browser here. It's the ancient port of a Palestine city. down here. That's not in a Palestine city. They're saying it's along the shoreline. Let me see that it's here. And as you've seen that in the larger picture here, it's over here. Okay. Just to understand where this city is at, or Philippi. So I doubt that he went over there. But the object is I've left it in the city of whatever here. And he asked his disciples, who do not the people, but foreigners say who I am? We already know the Israelis know he's the Son from Man. We know the Jews have rejected him. And this here text would almost have to be after he sent them out into Judah to heal. So this word is going to be, going to put in blue for my reminding. And then I'm going to say, add this text to in this way. I'm pretty sure that's where this text is going to go, because if he's walking around, he would have not been hearing that. So this question has to be after they had come back from being sent out. Okay. It's almost like this whole sentence is just been added, because it would be about their being turning. So this is a good note for myself. Noted right here. As to when I piece them together, I'll see that. Because there's no way they would have known what was going on. Here, some were saying John the Baptist, others Elijah, and others, and that's still others, but others Jeremiah or one of our prophets. Now this is speaking to a reincarnation. In fact, they're all speaking to reincarnation, that they've come alive again, who Jesus is. Who is the Son of Man? Okay. I got confused when I got here. I think I said, oh, that was in the title. Jesus asked them, who do you say I am? Okay. He's asking who the people think is the Son of Man. And that would have been, well, it couldn't have been Elijah, because I don't think David was, it's David. This can't be true, because Son of Man has to come through David's seed, and John was born from Levites. Elisha, there's no information about that. Neither is Jeremiah or one of the prophets, because all the prophets didn't come from David's line. There's prophets before David and prophets at the time of David. But it would go to the teaching that they were being taught among the people, among their people. So it's not, it would be, who do our people say, who is the Son of Man? Who do the foreigners say? This has to be this. He's got to be speaking about their disbelievers, because they're being sent to them. So that needs to be corrected. And then that would go with the false teaching and traditions that the priests are doing and the scribes are doing to the text. When he asked the disciples, who do our disbelievers say the Son, say, who is the Son from man? Is their Son from man? Who do our disbelievers say, who is their Son from man? Okay, that's better, because it couldn't have been foreigners. When I'm realizing that's the answer that they're given. Foreigners would not know any of these. So they said some, John the Baptist, others Elijah, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. This is not teaching reincarnation. This is now their people saying others are. Oops. Then he asked, who do you say I am? Okay. That needed a little help today. And I'm sure I'll add, well, I'll be right next to the other text when I correct it, so I might as well. Okay. Now, it says Simon Peter. Let me see if that's how. Which verse is that? 16:16. And Simon Peter. Now, this is very confusing, Simon Peter, because some of the text says Simon, some says Peter, some of it even says Jesus gave Peter a new name named Simon. But can't be both of them in this verse. So Peter answered, his Christ, our King from YHVH, not our Son, but our King who is to die. Now, you can see that I've added this text here, okay? In Isaiah writes about his vision, what is going to happen to our King on earth, and he is horrified by his death, and he says that it disturbed him so badly that he had a hard time even as he was going to bed. He couldn't stop thinking about the way they killed him. So Peter is now actually giving the title to Jesus as Christ, who is our King from YHVH, who is to die. This is Peter giving Jesus the title Christ in this verse. Jesus said to him, "Blessed are you, Peter." So now he's going to give him another name here. "Because our Father in heaven did reveal me to you." This is his thoughts that were after what is being written and what he has learned. It is that Peter is the first one to recognize here that he is to die, and putting these together before Jesus is telling them that he is going to die. So when anybody looks at a title for Jesus, this is the title, Christ. And what the title means, our King from YHVH who is to die. And it is going to be his, because it's our Creator's will. You have to have the word his here. And Peter answered, his Christ, our King from YHVH who is to die. Now, Jesus said to him, "Blessed are you, Peter." Not sure if the word blessed is the correct word here. "Because our Father in heaven did reveal me to you." If you don't have these words, "reveal me to you," it's here where it says revealed this to you by my Father in heaven. I've just put it revealed here, and did reveal me to you. Should I put this before? Because no, I wanted our Father in heaven first being said, not in the reverse order. Okay. But I'm borrowing this word here. Whoops. This word here from over here. And this is a very poor word as well. Then he turns to Peter and he says, because he doesn't need to say this. He just says, Peter, and I'm using Peter because of this word. And might have been the word Simon here. No, it was Peter. Okay, because Peter's being used here, I'm using it here. Okay. So that's why I picked Peter at this time for this verse, and it wasn't Simon who said this. Yes, that's more correct than what I said earlier. So it's not upon this rock, it's the knowledge that he was given. So it doesn't need to be said that, because it just described our Father in heaven did reveal you to me, or me to you. You will help, not build, but help their gatherings for me. Church is a English word that was added to be written in English to mean a gathering place. At their time, they had synagogues, but when Jesus knew that the word was going to spread about him around the world, he is just going to be able to say that they're gatherings for him, that they were somebody go out on even a street corner and start talking to people coming over. That's a gathering for him. Because here, Peter is giving him the title Christ. Everybody says Jesus Christ. Is Jesus his Christ or Jesus the Christ? Meaning he is the King from our Creator, the promised one, the Holy One, who was foretold he will die. In fact, Isaiah says it was a very horrible death, and we do learn that. So, and those going to be those going to the abyss will not overpower them. Those that gather in Jesus' belief and trust Jesus as their King, he's also stating those going to the abyss will not overpower them, will not change their mind. One has to change their own mind about Jesus. As Jesus said, others can deceive you when you heard the parable about the seeds. So, but Peter is going to help these gatherings by giving Jesus this title, Christ. A lot of people, it just goes over their head. They don't understand, because the word Christ is used most of the time wrong in the 4 books. They get ahead of this verse, and this verse has to take place before you can start using Christ in different places in the text. So you'll see me editing the other books, and you'll see me getting rid of the word Christ, because it doesn't happen until now. This first part of this verse, I've divided into sentences. It was a long verse, but the first part will not be used, nor the last part, because whoever will lose on earth will be lost from heaven. That doesn't, we know what Jesus' promise is. We know what our Creator's promises. You believe our Creator exists, then he sends to Jesus, and then Jesus, by obeying our Creator's commands, Jesus will forgive all your sins, and you will enter into heaven. Here, you can't describe it whatever as what you lose on earth. This is just not said correctly, and I don't want to go changing it to make it my own verse. Thus, whoever you will gather to me on earth will be gathered in heaven. And then he warned them they're not to tell, should not tell, but do not tell anyone, not no one, anyone, he is the Christ. At this, now Jesus is using Peter's title that he's given to him. So, when you hear me say that words come out your mouth and it's not you speaking, this could have very much been what happened when Peter said these words, okay? Because Jesus is saying that because our Father in heaven did reveal me to you, through you. Through you. And I don't like using the long English word. So let me get that, because that's a very important change. That is more correctly said. And it goes with everything I've been teaching you as Jesus defined what is Holy Spirit. Is Christ our King from YV who is to die. Very, very good there, Mike. And it's something I need to remember and tell other people. I learned right just like that. So, and then Jesus is just warning them, you're not to tell anyone he is his Christ. So, not at that time. When did this happen? I think he's preparing them when they go into Jerusalem. So now the text we're probably we might be close to halfway through the text of Matthew. So now we have to get to his days in Jerusalem and then the crucifixion parts of the book here. And they had the word his, Christ, began telling his disciples he must go to Jerusalem. Okay, that fits in with what I'm saying here. For their elders, tribe priests, and scribes will have him killed, not suffer many things. See, not suffer many things, this is not true, but he did suffer when he was killed. So, have him killed. Me killed. Oh, wait a second, yes. I see what's going on here. This is like the storytelling of what's to come up here. So now we have the disciples returning, and then we have him telling, yes, they're going into Jerusalem. So he must go to Jerusalem, and there, meaning their elders, tribes, priests, and scribes will have him killed. Okay. Oh. Now, it doesn't have him tell him that he was to raise from his death. This is added, so we know that there's more to be added to the verses above. And you can see how when I take text and put it together, you're going to see that this story needs to be added before this verse. He will rise him from his death. Then he will be raised from his death. Okay, but Judas, not Peter, because Peter is too good here to be saying that, well, Jesus is going to answer him. But we know who the bad guy is, and it's Judas. So I'm going to use Judas here, rebuked him, for he said, YV will not allow this, not forbid this, but will not allow this, my Lord. Well, forbid it. Will not allow this, my Lord, for this will never happen to you. So that's why I changed the word from Peter, or the name from Peter, to Judas. Peter, we just got done knowing that he's going to help the people. So Judas is the bad guy, so this would be said by a bad guy. Okay? And that's going to be the end of this video here, because Jesus is going to reply to him here, and we'll pick up here.